Okay, Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. My name is Muhammad Munzir bin Muhammad Nasir. Today I want to present my final year project, which is the title is Study of Transforming Seawater to Freshwater. And my project is monitored by my supervisor, which is Cik Faridah binti Mat Taib. Okay, in my presentation, they have 8 content, which is first introduction, second project abstract, problem statement, objective, work scope, methodology, result, and also conclusion. Okay, first we go to the introduction. Okay, I want to introduce my main material in this experiment, which is seawater. Seawater is that contain 3.5% of dissolved salt. It is home varieties of aquatic animal such as fish, snail, and it also known as saline water or or salt water, which have many benefits that human can get in their daily life. Okay, for the fresh water, it is natural occur water found on the earth's surface. It is used by people for agriculture industry, recreation, and also tourism. Fresh Freshwater ecosystem have many use to human. For example, dams are built to harness power from the river to generate the power. It also a power supply, power purification, assist in flood control, and also a major source of biodiversity. Okay, next we go to the project extract. In this study, the extract from the seawater is needed to produce the fresh water. Seawater was chosen because it can be found at any beach or ocean in Malaysia. Nowadays, there is an increased demand for fresh water from the citizen as water channel at certain urban area did not receive an enough supply of fresh water. In this research, steam distillation method is used to extract the fresh water from the seawater. Parameters that affect the production of and amount of fresh water produced are investigated. The parameters are amount of seawater used, the amount of fresh water produced, mass of salt, and also pH value of the end of the product. Therefore, amount of fresh water produced from this method were compared. The method are suitable as it maintain the concentration safe and reliable. Okay, we go to the problem statement. In this area, water has become increasing crucial issue facing many cities around Malaysia. Rapid population growth, urbanization, and economic development lead to growth pressure on water resources in urban area. The demand for water keep rising constantly year by year. With water demand exceeding water supplies, water shortage have become more prominent in many cities in the both developed and developing world. Numerous cities, particularly in semi-arid and arid region, have outgrown their local water supply. All close at hand surface water sources are being tapped and groundwater resources are being exploited in unsuitable way. In future, more cities will need to rely on more distant water source or interbasin water transfer in order to cope with rising demand of water. To overcome this problem, we have to come out with solution in order to avoid it. In some process, without suitable parameter control, like overheat temperature or uncontrollable pressure, it may damage and reduce quality of fresh water. So it is necessary to choose suitable method and process to overcome this problem. Okay. The objective of this experiment is to fabricate a device for the method experiment used, which is we use steam distillation in producing fresh water, and then to determine the volume of seawater heated and amount of fresh water produced. Okay, for the result, it will be measured from the amount of quality fresh water produced, pH value, and also mass of salt. The data collection will compare to identify the using steam distillation by pressure cooker as effective as design method in producing fresh water. Okay, we go to the work scope. Okay, the scope of work for this experiment is focusing on use steam distillation as a design method in producing fresh water. Steam distillation is process involve the pressure cooker as the main apparatus. The extraction of fresh water from seawater will undergo in this process. The fresh water collected when the steam vaporizes the material compound and will go through the condensation process. From this process, the amount of fresh water will measure and compare with the volume of seawater heated on producing it. Three different volume of seawater heated to get the best result for this research. Volume of seawater being heated are compared between 5,000 milliliter or 5 liter, 6,000 milliliter, and also 8,000 milliliter or 8 liter. Based on this parameter, amount of fresh water is measured. Okay. For the next slide is, as I mentioned, in this experiment focusing on steam distillation method. Okay, what is distillation? Distillation is a process of boiling and condensation in component of liquid mixture. This method involves separation technique either to increase the concentration or obtain to pure component from the mixture. There are three types of distillation method can be used to extract the fresh water. These include water distillation, water and steam distillation, and also steam distillation. Okay. Steam distillation is a separation method used to purify temperature sensitive substance such as aromatic compound. The goal of this process is to introduce the heat and separate the component at the temperature below their decomposition point. Steam distillation is method to use to distilling high sensitive compound. Temperature of the steam distillation is much easier to control than the temperature of the surface heating element. Then it allows a high rate of heat transfer without need to heating a very high temperature. This process involves bubbling steam through the heated mixture of the raw material. When salt water is evaporated by heat, steam will be produced and leave the salt content behind. The steam which contain no salt will be collected and condensed in different container. This new water we can call it fresh water. That's the aim. The bacteria are also being killed during the boil process due to the high temperature. Okay, next we go to the methodology. Okay, first we start. For the start the project, I gathering the information from the journal article website, and I also do the literature review on the previous study, and then I study site. I design the project. I design the device and fabricate the device for the method using steam distillation, and then run the experiment to test the parameter. If it's not get the real data that we need, we will try again, and if the result get as we need, we can proceed to analyze the data, and then we can go to prepare the presentation or thesis and also technical report. Okay, this is the part of pressure cooker, which is the main apparatus in this experiment. Okay, pressure cooker is chosen because it is made of heavy stainless steel, which can withstand high pressure cooking and and high temperature. Pressure cooker also come with indicator to alert us when the pressure has reached the medium pressure and high pressure. It is also come with safety lock. It will be it will prevent any unwanted incident or the explosion, so that it has no way to out from the cooker. A pressure cooker is a pot which have a valve that will control the steam inside. When the pot will heat up, the steam will produce from the liquid inside and increase the pressure inside the pot. Based on its features, pressure cookers are suitable cooking device to use to producing the fresh water in distillation process. Okay, and then the second necessary material is copper tube. Okay, copper tube is most material used in heating system and as a refrigerant line in heating, ventilation, and also air conditioning system or HVAC system. As time goes by, copper tubing is slowly being replaced by cross-linked polyethylene or PEX tubing in hot and cool appliance. Copper has a small electrical resistance and good electrical conductivity of all metal except silver. Current flow very easily through the copper due it is small electrical resistance without much loss of energy. So that is the reason why I choose copper in this material in this experiment. Okay, this is the design that I made in CATIA. The main what I draw is the main part of this experiment, which is pressure cooker and connecting with the copper tube. And as you can see, I made a coil. Okay, made a coil which is can give more surface area and can produce more fresh water. Okay, this is the sketch of the position for the experiment. If you can see the apparatus that need in this experiment is firstly gas stove, pressure cooker, copper pipe, box cooler box with ice, and also jug to collect the end product. Okay, so to run the experiment, this experiment are conduct with different parameter, and to identify which parameter give the large amount of fresh water produced. Steam distillation setup involves two main part with condenser and boiler. At the boiler part, it is involved the pressure cooker and material that will undergoes the boiling process, at which the steam were trapped and collected. Meanwhile, at the condenser part, it is involved the copper pipe that bring the steam that flow through it and undergoes condensation process. Experiment start by turn on the heat and let the pressure cooker to boil the seawater. When it reach at high pressure and temperature, the trapped steam inside will release the water, then it will turn into the vapor. Next condensation process occur when the vapor pass through the copper pipe or copper tube. The volume of liquid produced that pass through the pipe is measured. The experiment is repeated with different volume as I mentioned, which is 5 liter, 6 liter, and also 8 liter. A pressure cooker can reach a temperature of 121 degrees Celsius at the existing atmospheric pressure, which is 100 kilopascal. Thus, The boiling of temperature of water in pressure cooker determined by atmospheric pressure. In this method, fill the volume of seawater that want to use according to the experiment, then boiling together. At first, the pressure cooker will alert us when the pressure reach the medium pressure and high pressure where the water are fully boiled. Next, steam is collected and through the copper tube. In the copper tube, the condensation process occurs when then produce the water and salt will produce in pressure cooker after fully boiled the seawater. Okay. Okay, as you can see, as I show in the figure, the fresh water produced through the copper tube, and the salt that leave behind added in the pressure cooker after the end of the experiment. Okay, then we go through the result. As you can see, the experiment 1 to experiment 3 is my final if my FYP1, which is I doing the previous semester, which is at first I use 200 milliliter, and fresh water is that produce is 50. For the 400 is 200, and 600 seawater is 500. Okay, and for the experiment 4, experiment 5 and 6 that I do in this semester, which is FIP2. Okay, as you can see, even though the volume of 1 liter seawater was not being tested, I can conclude that from the FYP1 where we use seawater of less than 1 liter amount of fresh water produced was below than it initial seawater use at the beginning of the experiment. Then in FIP2, when I use the seawater greater than 1 liter, we can obtain fresh water with same initial volume of seawater. So in conclusion, the higher demand of fresh water, the greater the volume of seawater needed to, but at certain amount they will be equivalent to each other. Okay, this is the fresh water, and this is the table of mass of salt. Okay, the water will become the vapor as I mentioned before, and it boil, and the salt will remain in the pressure cooker until the process, as in the end of the process. And at the end of the process, the water vapor will collected in a jug, and the salt will remain in the pressure cooker, will be scrubbed off and will collected in the plastic bag. Then the salt will measure by using the digital weighing scale, as you can see. Okay, the mass of salt obtained at the end of the experiment keep increasing from the experiment 1 until experiment 6, as you can see before. Thus, we can conclude that the quality of salt produce and also freshwater produce keep increasing with the greater volume of seawater use. Okay, for the pH value for all the end product is, as you can see, what I have done is 6 by using the pH paper. So it is in study, as I research, the value of pH water for the fresh water is between 6 to 8. So what the product that I have in this experiment is still in the range of the natural fresh water. Okay, for the conclusion, From the study, it revealed that the volume of seawater I use is influence the volume of the freshwater and also mass of salt produced. Therefore, the parameter used must be suitable depend on the apparatus and method used. In this study, pressure cooker was used as a boiler, which in turn will be produce steam or water vapor. According to the World Meteorological Organization report, in 2025, more than half of the world expect to experience a stress of water supply with the increase in world population. So that's why with this scarce amount of water that we can utilize, we need to wisely plan to benefit them correctly in order to preserve into our future generation. Okay, this is my phone number and my email. Okay, I think that's all for me. Thank you for watching and thank you for listening my presentation. Assalamualaikum.